Hey everybody, it's me, just making a new video today. This is going to be a wrestling video talking about what Raw needs to do to get better. Raw these past few weeks have been lackluster, it's been garbage, it's been hard to watch. Many people who were big fans of Raw aren't fans of Raw anymore, mainly because of the long promos when Raw starts, and then the 4 to 3 minute matches that they have on Raw. And that's pretty much what the problem is on Raw, is the fact that Raw just isn't like what it used to be. I mean, you had some good main event matches, you had some good 5 to 7 minute matches on Raw. You had some entertaining matches that were given enough time, and that's not what you're seeing on Raw. And that's one of the main reasons why Raw is pretty much third or fourth to many of the wrestling shows that are on. You can even say five, as you got the number one show, which is SmackDown. Then you got number two, which is ECW, and then of course you got number three, which is ROH, TNA. And Raw is right behind TNA, and that's the problem, and that's the problem of why Raw just isn't like what it used to be. So here's the things that Raw can do to fix itself and get back on track. First of all, Raw needs to stop having these same main event matches over and over again. I know that the match at Extreme Rules has already been signed between Batista and Randy Orton, and it's going to lead to a Triple H return and Triple H having a match with Randy Orton. But I mean, wrestling fans don't want to see the same match between two guys who really didn't have a good match to begin with at Judgment Day, that match was just garbage. It was boring and it was hard to get into. And now you're having a match again at Extreme Rules, and then they had the same match again with the two on Raw. I think it was that same week of Judgment Day, and really they kind of hurt the main event for Judgment Day. And that's what I feel that Raw needs to do to get itself back on track, is to start pushing more new talent into the main event status. I know there's guys like Kofi Kingston and Jamie Noble and guys like that who really are not really at that level, but they need to start doing something and push some new wrestlers into the WWE title main event scene, because seeing the same guys on top on Raw, it just gets boring, and many fans don't want to see that. They want to see new stars be made, sort of like what's happening on SmackDown. Like, look, as you see on SmackDown, new guys like Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, John Morrison, they're all getting focused on, and there's even guys from the mid-card that are getting pushed to the main event. And that's sort of what Raw is lacking, and one of the reasons why nobody really cares for Raw is because they don't want to see the same guys on top of Raw. They want to see fresh new talent inserted into the main event, but Raw doesn't seem to get this message, and they want to get away from that and continue to do what they've been doing. The other thing that Raw needs to fix to get itself better is improve its mid-card. I mean, the mid-card has been sort of like a joke on Raw. Like, it hasn't been taken seriously, as you see on SmackDown, where they're taking the mid-card seriously and they're focusing on most of the wrestlers in the mid-card. Here on Raw, they're not focusing a lot on any of the mid-card wrestlers. The only wrestler that you can say they're focusing more on is really MVP and Miz, and really Matt Hardy, but they haven't really focused more on him, and that's what I feel that they're lacking there. They haven't developed their mid-card on Raw, and if they would do that, then most people would tune into Raw, and Raw would get better, and it'll be on the same level as SmackDown. But Raw hasn't seemed to get this message, and they haven't seemed to fix that problem or learn from what SmackDown is doing, and that's one of the reasons why no one wants to tune into Raw. The other thing is the promos. I mean, the promos on Raw, like I said, they've been so long and they take up so much of the airtime that some of the matches don't get enough time, some of the matches don't get enough build, and when you have a match, and then when you see some of the matches, they just feel rushed, and there was no thought put into the matches, and that's what Raw needs to do. They need to cut these 5 to 7 minute promos into 3 to 4 minute promos from the beginning, whether it's with the beginning of Raw or towards the middle of Raw. They need to cut some of the time on the backstage skits, because some of the backstage skits on Raw have been way too long, and that's really what they need to do for that, is just to trim some of that stuff down so they can give some of the matches on Raw. And some of these matches on Raw were good, but they weren't given enough time. They could have been great, but weren't given enough time, and that's really what the problem is that the promos need to get cut down, cut short, and some of the mid-card matches need to be more longer to develop characters and help establish characters. And that's what I feel Raw hasn't been doing, and that's what Raw needs to do to get on the same level as SmackDown and even ECW and TNA for that matter. As TNA, even though I really don't praise TNA that much, TNA has been doing good in these past couple impacts. They have been improving. The promos have been cut short. The matches have been given enough time. And that's sort of what Raw has been lacking. And what Raw needs to do is to improve this and make it better to the point where everybody will start taking notice of Raw again and watch it more. And then they need to improve their main events. And the final thing is, like I said, the final thing of what Raw needs to do to get better is to improve their main events. Stop having the same main event matches every single Monday, whether it's the Batista against Cody Rhodes or Batista against Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase Jr., or Batista against Ted DiBiase Jr. They need to stop repeating these same formula matches and have some new main event matches that the fans will get into and get behind or get interested in, or have fans talk about to the point where they'll want to keep watching Raw and to see what main event is going to be happening the next couple weeks. And that's what I feel Raw needs to do to get itself better and to help establish itself, is to get a new main event. To have a new main event matchup instead of repeating the same recycled formula main event matches on Raw. And that's pretty much what I think Raw needs to do to get itself better, to get itself on the same level as SmackDown, or to get its credibility back and to be the A show again. But apparently Raw most likely won't do that, and they'll keep using the same formula they've been doing these past couple weeks, and that's going to turn more people off to Raw. And that's a shame, because Raw has been one of the most watchable and interesting shows for the past couple years, from the moment it started in 1993 to the moment it was getting good to the moment it stopped kind of getting boring, which was somewhere around 2005, 2006. And that's what I feel Raw needs to do, because Raw can get better. It's just the fact that the WWE needs to put effort into it to make it better. But yeah, that's just my video with what WWE Raw needs to do to get better. Some of the things that they can do to improve themselves to be on the same elite as SmackDown and many of the other wrestling shows. Hope you like my video. You can rate, you can comment, you can give me a video response. And for some of you who haven't subscribed and are watching for the first time, feel free to subscribe, because I got a lot of good videos on the way. And I hope to upload another video sometime Monday or Tuesday, or whenever I upload another new video. Until then, this is Fitness 65 bringing you a new video. Like I said, rate, comment, and give me a video response if you like. And that's pretty much my video. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'm out. Peace. And hopefully the picture on this camera will go back to normal and you won't see the black screen like you did in the video before this. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'm out. Peace.